What's up guys, it's Manga Time. Once again I'm here to bring you my review of Bleach 611, The Soul King Dies. Hope everyone had a great Christmas. I wasn't expecting to do this today, but like, it's always so weird around this time. Like I was saying this last time I was giving a review. Seriously, you can expect a chapter at any time over the Christmas period. Like, they will just appear randomly. We had one on Christmas Day last year, so in a way this is a bit better though, because I didn't get a chance to do a review last year, so this is a better time. So yeah, I hope everyone had a great day yesterday, doing whatever you do. So yeah, back to the chapter, because the chapter's pretty crazy. So I want to get into this. Now, as soon as I read the title, which on the Manga Panda version just says Soul King, I was like, oh my god, what a way to end the year. And so the chapter starts with Ichibei dying. His body like splatters everywhere, and Yahava's like, it's just as I had seen. And we get this like literally awesome panel of Ichibei's foot, and it's like obviously cut off there. Yahava walking forwards, and Ichibei's face like back here in terms of the perspective. And it's just really creepy, but really awesomely drawn. And like, the art this week is actually really quite good, I think. Ichibei's looking up at Yahava like, he's obviously dead, but he's still looking at him, and Yahava like blows up the seal Ichibei created in another awesome panel. And it's really cool because if you remember the beginning of the fight, Ichibei said, "I'll defeat you in this space," and Yahava said, "No, I'll have you dead 3 steps before." And that's what happened here. Literally, they're in the space, and Yahava has him dead about 3 steps before the edge of the space. So it's kind of grim that Ichibei's area actually signified Ichibei's death, not Yahava's. But that's quite a nice little thing. And then we get an awesome page, in my opinion, where Yahava's like, the Zero Division has fallen, and we see the rest of the members, and they're all actually defeated, which means the Elite Sturmiter are still alive, and they've gone with Yahava to the Soul King, probably, or they're still waiting around here. But still, that's awesome that they survived this. Having said that, pretty certain all of these Royal Guards are still alive, and they're all going to come back. Like, Korinji's kind of, I don't really get what Korinji's doing. You don't really see much of him. He's lying there, but he can't be that badly injured. He's got a trickle of blood there, but he can't be that badly injured because he's still managing to hold his stick in his mouth, so he can't be that bad. Hikifune looks pretty busted up. She's also skinny Hikifune, implying that she expended a lot of Reiatsu, implying that her opponent was quite tough. Obviously, Oetsu is pretty banged up. He's like collapsed against one of the trees, and Shutara's just on the floor with lots of blood. So they're in serious trouble. The Elites defeated them. Whether we don't know how easily they defeated them, probably fairly easy. When we saw how quickly Lil Barrow was popping caps, but yeah, I actually can't wait to see the Elites again. It feels like it's been ages. But anyway, Yahava's like, now it's your turn, Soul King. We see the big Soul King palace, and yeah, it looks really cool. And then we get like a couple of pages that are a bit wasted. We get an entire page of the Soul King palace, and then we get an entire page of the Soul King palace and Yahava, and then Yahava does this huge smile. And we get the chapter title, which isn't The Soul King, it's The Soul King Dies. And at this point I was like, seriously? So, I hope the Soul King doesn't die, just yet, anyway. We get like a double page spread of this light just smashing through the ground, and I can't quite tell if it's Yahava leaving to go to the Soul Palace, or if it's Ichigo and the others arriving, because Ichigo and the others do arrive. About time too. Their Kyukaku cannon thing comes flying up like this, crashes onto the ground, and Ganju hits the floor because apparently Orihime couldn't fit him in the Santen Keshun, and she seems rather nonchalant about this, considering how much she's supposed to care about everyone. But yeah, we get a cool picture of Ichigo stepping out of the Kyukaku flower crane cannon, and he looks around, and Chad actually gets quite a few lines at this scene. He's like, it's too quiet, did something happen? And then, what happened to the Zero Division? And then Ichigo's like, oh crap, and he sees Ichibei's face, and he sees Ichibei on the floor in pieces, and his arm like this, and it's just like really gruesome and awesome. And Yoroichi's like, oh shit. And then Orihime looks like she's about to be sick. And then, basically, they're just like, who is this? And Ichigo's like, it's the Royal Guard guy who trained Rukia and Renji and me in the Zero Division, all this sort of thing. And Orihime then tries to heal him. Ganju says it's impossible to heal him while he's in pieces. Now, we don't actually know if Orihime could have healed him or not. I'm inclined to believe she couldn't. just because we have rather conflicting information about Orahime's ability. She was able to heal Meneli Malia back in the Arrancar arc, but more recently, she was unable to heal the Arrancar who were being slaughtered in the Huecamundo by the Yagdharme and Opie and Kurge Opie. So I'm inclined to believe that once Ichibei has been obliterated to death, there is no way she can save him. However, Ichigo starts hearing Ichibei's voice, and he's kind of like, you know, call my name, Ichigo, call my name. And then eventually Ichigo does call his name, and all of a sudden he wakes up again, and his body like pulls itself back together, and he's like, whoa, that was close, thanks a lot, boy. And at this point I was like, okay, because I kind of wanted Ichibei to be dead, but at the same time, if he's alive, it lets his character do a bit more, and I'm not too bothered either way. Let's put it like that. I'm not too bothered either way. We get a nice little bit of comic relief here, and you might think the comic relief doesn't really work now at this time because it's all gotten very serious in the story. But you know, I think it kind of does. But Ichigo's like, weren't you dead? And he's like, yeah, I was dead. But every time someone calls my name, because names have power, every time someone calls my name, I steal a bit of their power. And basically, he stole some of Ichigo's power to bring himself back to life. This also explains why Shunsui called him Osho, why Ashutara called him Osho, and why Ichibei was always like, don't call my name so lightly to Yhwach. Now, while you might think that means he was stealing Yhwach's power all the time, it doesn't really, because Yhwach also has the ability to draw it back to him. So, yeah, but at least we now find out why Ichibei's name is so, like, almost taboo, which I think is kind of cool, actually. And Ichigo's like, that's messed up, which is kind of funny. But then everything gets serious again, and Ichibei's like, Ichigo, stop Yhwach. And you kind of have to think to yourself, like, how is this even possibly going to happen? Like, how can Ichigo stop you? The man that defeated Ichibei basically without any trouble. And Ichibei's like, you know, he's crushed the whole Zero Division. Like, you don't have to kill him, just stop him. And Ichibei's like, Ichibei seems now confident that he could defeat Yhwach, but he's like, we'd have to wait for my powers to come back, and that's going to take ages. So, yeah, it's interesting. And we get a tiny bit more about the Soul King, but not really. Ichibei basically is like, the Soul King's the key to the whole world. If he dies, the Seireitei, the human world, Huecamundo, all of it vanishes. So, we don't really know why, but hopefully we'll find out in the coming chapters. So Ichibei's kind of like, I'm sorry for asking so much of you, but please save the Soul King, Ichigo. And it's a very reminiscent of Byakuya telling Ichigo to save Seireitei after they were all getting smashed up by the Vandenreich. And we get a really awesome panel, in my opinion, of Ichigo and the gang dashing forwards towards the palace. However, it would appear they're too late, as on the very next page, we get a full body shot, almost, of the Soul King, which is awesome, but he's being stabbed through the heart. So, at this point, I was kind of like, oh my god, my heart was like, whoa, holy crap, it's the Soul King. Looks-wise, he doesn't look all that special. He's like this naked dude with very, very short hair, very short black hair, and he's also got the funky eyes. But he seems expressionless, even though he's being stabbed in the chest, which is kind of interesting. It's almost like he's in a slumber state, but he's obviously in his little gem thing. But yeah, he's been stabbed, and the final page of the chapter, we see him in his gem thing and the big curtains, and Yhwach's cut one of them in half and all this. And he goes, farewell, Soul King, the one who has seen into the future, my father. And at this point I was like, what? I was like, you can't be... Okay. So, the Soul King is Yhwach's father. We kind of said something like this was going to happen. We figured they might be related in some way, or Yhwach might have been another Soul King, something like that. But for them to be blood related makes this really quite interesting. I'd like to propose a couple of theories. Either the Soul King is a Quincy, which might explain how he is able to... how he's the key of the world, how he's able to hold everything together because he's got such a powerful Reishi command, but that's not exactly what I think it is. We know that Yhwach is at least the father of the Quincies. Does that mean he has to be a Quincy, a complete Quincy himself? Or is he something more than that? I feel like the Soul King and Yuhava may almost be a complete separate race. Yuhava could still be this uber Reiatsu god, and he could have just created this race called the Quincy from his own powers and been like, yeah, you're the Quincy now, I'm your father, done. And while he and the Soul King are something completely separate. And the Soul King did the same to the Shinigami, perhaps. Another theory floating around is that because Yuhava can perform Auswahlen, the Soul King can do the same, and he might do it to the Shinigami. That'd be kind of sick. But yeah, it's like so crazy that this has just got kind of thrown on us. Like, the Soul King is finally here, and hopefully he's actually going to do some shit. I actually would be disappointed if the Soul King was just killed now. That would disappoint me quite a bit, actually. The immense build-up to the Soul King, and he's finally here, and he's just been stabbed through the chest. That would be kind of lame. It is kind of looking like the Soul King might not be the final bad guy, though. I think it's probably going to be Yuhava. Although Aizen is still probably going to come back. But I think for the moment, it's fairly clear-cut how it's going to play out for the next few chapters, at least. The elites are still alive. They're likely to counter Ichigo's friends. So, like, you know, we'll get Askin and that lot versus Chad and Orihime, etc. Whether the Stomators will lose, I don't know. The plot's in command here. I don't think the Stomators would lose since they just offed the Royal Guard. So, I'd like to think that Kubo would have more sense than to have Chad defeat them. But Yoruichi might beat one of them, who knows. So, I think that'd be some cool fights, though. I'd like to see them fight. Ichigo will then probably try and confront Yuhava, only to get stopped by either Uri or Hashvalth. And just some crazy shit's going to go down. Like, I don't think Ichigo's going to win here. I don't think he can. It's not possible. So, Yuhava's probably going to succeed in killing the king. In which case, I want a damn flashback. Like, seriously, I want a damn flashback. And I do think we'll see a usurping of roles. I think Yuhava's probably going to succeed in his plan, whatever the hell it is, to kill the king for whatever reason. And I do suspect we'll get some kind of reinforcement from the ground, Shinsui, Ukitake, maybe Aizen as well, the Vizards, Urahara, etc. And yeah, I think eventually we're going to have some crazy free-for-all in the Royal Palace, which would be pretty neat. But yeah, that's basically it for this week's chapter, guys. I'm going to drop a 9 on this chapter just because I was like blown away by the ending. Like, just the Soul King and all of this, it was just like, whoa, okay. And I thought the artwork was fantastic. Ichibei coming back like that was a bit, yeah, okay. The thing is, it wasn't too annoying. Like, I could just buy it, so that's fine. So yeah, I'm going to drop a 9 on this week's chapter, guys. This is definitely, probably the last chapter of the year. I suspect now we'll have a couple of breaks. Because I think we're supposed to get this chapter on the 1st, so we're probably going to have a break now, but I don't really know. I'll just see you back here if we get another chapter, as simple as that. So, let me know in the comments below, guys, what you thought of this week's chapter. Is the Soul King dead, or is he going to do something? Is he going to pull some shit? Or is he over already? And would you be disappointed if that was the case? So let me know in the comments below, guys, what you thought. And as always, click up here to subscribe. I'd really super appreciate your help. And other than that, guys, have a great new year. And I'll see you probably in 2015. Maybe not. We'll see. Probably in 2015. But until then, guys, see ya.